Howdy, folks and folkettes. Is that a thing, folkettes? I don't know if it is. It is now if it's not. Welcome to the Breakers Bread podcast. I'm your host, Detavius the Black. This is a continuation from an episode that had been split into two parts so that it could be spaced out a little bit more, just testing it out to see how it is. I know some of the episodes in the past were super long, and so I wanted to kind of make it spacious enough, to where it can be marinated and digested well. So, or marinated? Not marinated. Yeah, I think marinated. Sauteed? Maybe. Who knows? But thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you get a lot from this episode, and it would be great if you could tell us all the great things that you think about this podcast or other things that you might not like. You can email those things and, give us tidbits and all that jazz. But we appreciate the feedback. We also appreciate comments, likes, all those good things. But for now, I will let you focus on this episode and continue listening I guess now it's part 2, so continue listening from part 1. But thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully you enjoy. Peace. The most random comment was like, "You ever seen a baby pigeon?" And I was like, "No." They're like, "It's government made." And I was like, "Okay, now." I went, and that's when I had to look it up. I was like, "Okay, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know." This little girl, she was like, "I think pigeons are government made." And she was like, "Well," I was like, "Why?" Like, "Yeah, you ever seen a baby pigeon before?" And I was like, go look this up. And I was like, this is now honestly, I think about that like repeatedly, where I'm just like, man,
I thought the little birds that I saw, it gotta be. I'm not believing that at all. I've seen too many little birds in the hood, and they just grow up to be baby pigeons. Like, if that's the case, how Mike Tyson have all them pigeons? He had pigeon coops. I don't care what that little girl said. What you saying? Mike Tyson had a whole bunch of full-grown pigeons at all times? Get out of here. You go with that.
I went and looked it up, though. Baby pigeons are a thing, but there's a reason that we don't see them as often as other baby birds. But then again, I'm like, when do we ever see baby birds? Like, that was it's like, you always see them in the city. I'm like, New York pigeons are built different, though. Like, we can't count them as regular pigeons. But, yeah, I think it's because when I think about veganism, I know it's always been a thing. It's always been popular amongst certain crowds of people. Mm-hmm. It's like hip hop. Yeah. Hip hop and every trend has a pattern, and it has specific people who. Fun fact: did you know that Coco Chanel, the creator, I think is like the creator of Chanel, was a Nazi spy?
Oh yeah. I forgot. Yeah, yes.
Like
I forgot where I learned that from, and I didn't think it was true.
Yeah, I was like, "There's no way." And I looked it up, and I was like,
"I think, hold up, was it in? I thought I saw it in a movie, and then I had to go look it up of some sort and figure out who. I'm not sure if they played it as the part.
Yeah.
But the story was very similar type thing. And then I guess the stories matched, or it was a rendition of that thing. Mm-hmm. And then you read about what it was, like Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The theatrical thing is what it is in the movies. Mm-hmm. But if you go back
and look it up,
we just talked about that. Me, P, Horatio, and T, we were sitting around, and Bonnie and Clyde, you know how that go, but she was attracted to him, robbing banks, but she was the killer.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? So yeah, she was like,
evil times we live in. It's crazy that that's romanticized. Like, you hear it's like, yeah, you trying to be my Bonnie. Yeah, I'll be your Clyde. And I'm like, y'all ever pull up on me on some villainous romantic stuff, I'm knocking both of y'all out, and I'm burying y'all alive. I don't need that in my life. I don't need that in this world. But you know
something? The same is said for
Queen of Sun?
Ike and Tina.
Oh.
Big wheels keep on turning, homie.
But so to get into I probably didn't finish one of my thoughts, and honestly, if I didn't, it'll pop back up later.
Oh.
But it finished, like, just because I said the fun fact, I was like, it's gonna be gone. But what I wanted to talk about was there's three things, but the first thing I wanted to talk about 100% was there is a, you know what? No, I remember my thought. I remember it. I'm gonna get straight into the other thing because it kind of wheelbarrows into the whatchamacallit.
No doubt.
Speaking of wheelbarrows, I gotta send you a couple more links to these roast sessions because they be having me rolling, and I just be sitting there.
I didn't
laughing.
even see the first one.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
there's one in particular that I gotta find, and I remember I can't even. I just gotta throw the links to you. But anyway, what I was gonna say is I think that like it's very interesting because there's always trends have patterns. Every trend has a pattern,
yes,
whether they're constructed or not. And the thing that is weird about it is that no trend is new. No trend is new. It's like plants. Like it's like trees even. It's like you think that it's new because you just now seen it. That thing's been growing in the dirt for God knows how long. What makes you think it's new? Because you first saw it, it's not new. Like flat tops when they had made a comeback and people were like, "Oh my god, this thing is crazy." And I'm like,
that was a number 3 on the haircut poster when I went in there to get the number 3. Cause up there was the shag, the Gumby, the the slope. I had all kind of haircuts.
Yeah, it's
so I don't see things come back and the response it gets, like it's brand spanking, like it's a new idea.
Yeah, I'm like, no. That's why it makes me curious about the push. Because it's always been a thing. And I guess even in ancient history, you know, we see examples of different things and things related to it and whatnot. But the problem is not, and I think I've at least mentioned vegans at least once on every podcast, which I'm gonna keep doing it until one pops up, and then after that, I'm never talking about y'all again. But what makes me curious about it is that I always get curious now because when trends pop up, there's a reason, and I think that every trend is to push an agenda. 100%. I think I don't think that there's ever been a trend that we've had that didn't push an agenda. For instance, there have been, and every trend is accompanied by an anti-trend to combat that. So I've never seen a trend happen and then people didn't, and then another trend was also popping up that didn't combat that. So like when skinny jeans were becoming popular, just in general, people were like, I ain't wearing no skinny jeans. I'm going back to baggy pants. And it's just like, or when veganism.
I cannot do skinny. I cannot do skinny.
I can only wear skinny jeans because there are no space jeans that actually fit well. And they don't give me enough leeway when I'm like moving around. I actually feel like I'm moving and I'm not just floating. I'm like, I feel like when I put on any type of
you and Jace have and Jakai for that matter. I don't wear baggy clothes.
He likes fitted.
Yeah.
Jakai likes fitted. Jace is like, if it ain't like hugging my legs, I don't want
it. I gotta feel the fabric. I gotta feel the fabric on my legs next to my skin. I need it on. I need this on my skin.
But okay. But I think that every trends are very interesting because of the fact that every single trend is always accompanied by an anti-trend. And one of the things that is interesting about veganism, or you know what, I won't be a bully to y'all anymore. I'll talk about I'm just kidding, I'm not. But just everything always has to be fought. And so when kind of looking at everything that has been happening in the world of like animal preservation, I think it's the preservation it's very interesting to see so many different, I'll say, what was that? It's so interesting to see so many different combatants and just I guess I wouldn't say there's a word that I'm looking for, but different minded people. I'll just use it like that. And so with this, you have two people going back and forth with each other while different other people are pushing different agendas to combat this idea. And what you have is a war, and you have a battle of different thoughts and mentalities. And okay, here's a good one: gun violence, or just guns in general. So the big trend when guns were becoming a bigger thing, and it's like, oh snap, like everyone's gonna get guns, da 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 da. And then to combat that, anti-guns came, and it was like, no, we need to take. And so the trend was guns being popular, and the anti-trend was like, nah, we don't need that. With some anti-trends or response, I think others are just curated. It's like, we can't, because how do you sell something well? Like albums, you make beef. You're just like, I need to sell an album. I'm gonna just have beef with somebody.
The best thing I think for to show a example of that is boxing.
Yes.
Like some things that said, I'm like, are you serious? Sell this fight? You know what I mean? Just like the whole. But I know why, because it's good press.
Yeah, it's
somebody want to see something, and then it'll be a regular boxing match, and you be mad. No, they getting there as professionals, and they doing what they do.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to see somebody get elbowed and slammed to the ground and literally eat your kids and type shit. I mean, no, it's not. It's not gonna happen.
The only trend that I've seen that.
But it's entertaining.
It is. It's very, which is a key word.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. Yeah. That is the key word.
I had to make sure I stuck that in.
Yeah. So that is the key word.
Very entertaining.
But the only trend, or one of the only trends that I've seen that had the one party combated against each other was metal straws. And that one popped up by accident because this lady I think she does a lot of things with aquatics. I think she's a deep sea diver. She, cleans up oceans or something like that. Mm-hmm. I can't remember exactly, but I'm going to have to go back and find the episode because I just listened to it from a podcast. But what she was saying, she was like, I had no idea the video of the turtle getting a straw plucked out of his nose was going to blow up so much. And originally she was just like, hey, we need to kind of clean up our oceans, do stuff, playing it nice. And then one day she was like, I just said, F it. And I was just like, no, I've had enough. And she had posted the video and she was like, yo, we need to do something. Like, I'm sick of it. And she was it's like she had, voiced her frustrations. Mm-hmm. And then the video had blew up and she was like, I didn't even think that it was really going to do that. And I've
been trying so nicely before to get everybody to listen. And now I got to act like a pure bitch to get y'all to take notice. Why?
Yeah.
So.
And here's the thing about, and there's two things about that, and one of the two things is a I guess caveat. I don't know if caveat is a good word, but it piggybacks off of this. People hate the angry black woman or man agenda. Like they hate that construct or whatnot, and they're like, why is it like, it's either why is it always got to be an angry black man, or why do you have to be an angry black man to get your point across? Like you can just talk to us calmly. But the problem is that people don't listen. And not only this, but I was just like, I remember.
I shouldn't say that. I said
ever. There's some people that got heartbroken over that one. They're like, man, I'm pressed. But I think it's the weird thing is I remember one day I was like, man, one of the best and worst things that Black people ever got was a voice. And one of the best and worst things that they ever got access to was Twitter. And the reason I say that is because, and I say the worst because of sometimes how people act on Twitter. Not to say like when people just be roasting, because that jump be funny. And if you're too sensitive, I'm sorry. Like there's some things I'm like, all right, that's a little too far. Other things I'm like, nah, it's hilarious. But to explain what I mean is you take 300 years of oppression with no therapy. You take 300 years of bullying with no way out. You take 300 years of never being able to speak with your voice being taken away and basically your vocal cords being ripped out. And then you give them 1 year to say whatever they want to say. And then you get upset when they have 300 years worth of things to say.
Yes.
You cannot be upset when you've taken away a voice and then get upset and then watch it yell back at you when you give it back. That's why when people say, I don't understand the angry black agenda, why do they always have to yell and da-da-da-da-da? Why are they always so loud? I'll tell you. Now, I might be making it a little bit too deep, but imagine not being able to talk as a child. And then that first second you get, you're probably going to just go ham. And that's that. And you guys are like, you're making it too deep. No, I'm not, because that's how humans just work. But when you pass on silence to the next generation and you tell them you can't speak loud, you can't talk loud, because if you do, we will get in trouble. So whatever you say, you have to repress it. Everything that you feel, you have to repress it. People go through pain. They were like, I can't show them that I'm in pain because then it will make them seem like they're the ones that are winning, even though technically they are. I have to show them that at least I'm strong. And so you're breaking people for over 300 years. And now you're upset because we are finally doing something. We're doing everything that we should have been doing in year one. But we couldn't do that for 300 years. So, if you're upset that the next 300 years is about to be straight up bullying back to y'all got to remember that's what came first. There's always, and I'm, not to point any fingers, but scientists who just happen to be, a little pale always say cause and effect. For everything that happens, there's a reaction, and then,
equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah. So now to get back to what I was saying, the thing about it is that I think that when it comes to, us having, a voice and whatnot, is very interesting. But to go back to the original about the trends and whatnot, I think it's just kind of interesting because of the fact that like there's a huge push and it's like, okay, what is this for? Because there's not really anything that is, I guess. Oh, no. That's not what I was talking. It was the straws. So with the straws, people were fighting against each other about the importance of metal straws. So they're like, oh, I'm helping the environment, I'm switching to metal straws. And they're like, metal straws only make up like 4% or like less than 4% of all the plastics in the ocean. And these were people that were either just getting started and, being environmentally friendly or just different things like that. And so this is the issue that I have. Well, this is the thing that I have with trends that have been popping up and stuff like that, and going into why, like, the oversaturation of society. I think that, and this is, even going back to the mass extinction of humans and them doing it to themselves. There are, well, first of all, there's too many trends. That's first off, but we have too many. I think we just, I hate to say it this way, but I think that trends are made because of the fact that those are the easiest things to pit people against each other with. And like when the basic white girl phrase thing was coming out, and how if you go to an airport, you can find like 20 white girls that all look the same. But, in a weird way, you go to the hood, you can see the same thing. If you go to the favelas, you can see the same thing. If you go to Koreatown, you'll probably see the same thing. But the easiest target is, who's probably going to be attacked more? Hispanic girls, black girls, white girls, or Asian girls. What is the easiest thing in a weird way to roast? Because you've tried to do your damage and you see the damage that's been done to, other races. But this specific one, easy. You can easily target. And in a weird way, white people were not bred to roast back. Black people can, because we grew up with that. It's like, hey, I'm gonna throw something at you. You got to throw something back. You got to get your own. But It's like you hurt somebody's feelings if you say like, all right, Trevor, you look like every time you breathe in, you can smell colony or something like that. Or like you're still colonizing or something like that. Just different things like that. Something ridiculous, something that wouldn't even make any sense. But to them, it's like, dude, that kind of, I hurt my feelings. As like when you sleep, I mean, it's like you see a group of black people. What is your first thought? It's like, no, it's not what you think. It's like, I know exactly what your first thought is. You roast them or something like that. And so you can set off a lot of people by just having one trend and then just blow it up. And so I think that it attributes in a weird way to how we have an oversaturation in society. We have too many choices, too many things, and we're constantly pouring out just different things, and now we're suffering from it. Like, how does every gun owner's household has, I would say, more than 3, at least more than 3 guns. I'll say more than 2, I'll just say more than 2. In a room of 20 people, that's like at least 40 guns. Every house has, it has circled through at least like God knows how many dishes or just different things that are expendable, plastic, paper plates and stuff like that. And not just a certain brand, but different brands. It's at least cycled through 2 or 3 brands. Every household has gone through, at least like God knows how many different socks. And you have to keep shoes. You have to keep getting shoes the older you get. And so I think that we are attributing ourselves to, we're becoming the thing that we're trying to preach against. And I think that we don't really realize it. And I think the day that I started to question it was when I saw so many people talking about cutting off toxic people or having toxic relationships. But yet, if you look forward, if you fast forward, your timeline is being blown up by toxic relationships. And this is not a month, 2 or 6 months. This is like 8 months to a year after they said all these things. We have way too many choices and we're doing way too many things. Like I can pick between 30 different lawyers and figure out how exactly I want to sue somebody and the damages that I want to be done. Why do we have a choice to even do that? How do we have the choice to do that? As a common person, I have 20 candidates to pick who I want to run the state. And then I have more candidates to pick who I want to run the country. I have 20 different ways to figure out what cup do I want to put my water in. I don't want to think about things like that. I like to have a choice. Like, oh, you can either go with like Canvas or Gildan. Yeah, I might go with Canvas today. I went with Gildan last time. 30 buffets in one city. How much food can you guys offer? That's all you can eat. That's weird. I think oversaturated, and even outside of America, there's an oversaturation of language. We have so many different places, and every single one of us speaks something different. That's kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. People say that's unique. I don't know. I find that weird. Like Canada, America, and South America. Well, I'll say this. Yeah, North America and South America are hooked together. Yet every single portion of it speaks something different. French, English, and then Spanish or Portuguese. And even in that, different types of Spanish, different types of, it's like Spanish or Portuguese are the ones that's the one that mixes me up the most. I'm like, it's almost the same and yet it's different. And so I think that we are overloading ourselves, and we're doing what we do to computers to ourselves, where we have 256 gigabytes, 8, gigs of RAM, and we are pushing our space to the limit because we think that 256 gigabytes means that whatever I put in, like I just run out at 256. But we keep deleting and then putting in without. I think this is also a thing. Just so you guys know, data is actually never deleted. So it's just overwritten. So some things, there's actually a lot of things that can't be like deleted. The only way you can delete data technically is either if you toss it into space or you absolutely incinerate it. But you cannot just delete it. It just gets overwritten. So every time you format your computer, do whatever, you're not technically deleting it because somehow, some way you can kind of grab from it and just, pull it back out. But you can overwrite it to the point where it's not even recognizable of what it used to be. So we think that we're deleting a lot of things and we're just overwriting, but we keep forgetting we only have 8 gigs of RAM. And so if you stock up your whole computer at 250, your computer's going to run different because it ain't got as much storage as it used to have, and you only have 8 gigs of RAM. So while you're doing all of those things, and all of that storage has to be used, because if it's inactive, then it's basically just, it's empty space. So all of your stuff is still going to be being used somehow, some way, whether it's running in the background or it's just chilling or whatever, it's ready to go. Because if it's a dead memory, then when you click on it, nothing's going to happen. Why would it? It's a dead memory. It's not going to do anything. So now that's more of a theory, but if the science nerds want to come and correct me, come at me. My DMs are open, but we keep oversaturating ourselves with everything. I think that's why people could get married easier back in the day, because they didn't think they had as many options. So they're like, oh, I got what I got. Now you have Tinder. That's the prime thing. Tinder. Shout out to everyone that has a successful marriage over the internet, though. I think that's one of the coolest things, the funniest things to me. Like, it's funny, like, haha, because it's like, dang, that's crazy. Like, this is how we've progressed legitimately progressed. Like, we are making connections and are working over something that technically doesn't exist. Like, the internet doesn't exist, but it does. It's real, but it doesn't exist in the physical. But we're oversaturating ourselves and we're overloading our brains. If you've ever used your computer to the max, your computer freezes and then it shuts off. It overheats, It shuts off. You can hear that fan blowing, everything. Some of them blow up. But the only thing that we have seen, everything that humans make always have an overload system. You can overload a sink, an oven. Heck, you can even overload storage. Everything that we make can always be overloaded. I bet you if someone was making that table, that ceramic table, you'll know it's overloaded if one side starts tipping too far because they didn't make it balanced. Or something's not right, and when you put stuff on it, it cracks. Or it starts rusting. And you're like, why is ceramic rusting? Everything that humans touch can be overloaded. The only thing that we see that can't be overloaded, nature. I've never seen too many trees in one place. You go anywhere, we might think it's too many because we can't navigate through it. Whoever said that, though? They're like, I'm chilling. I've grown in my space. I've seen trees grow on each other or from each other, and they still have space. How do you do that? We can burn things when we're not paying attention. We can undercook things when we're not paying attention. We can overdo. We can do all these things. Everything that we do is the complete opposite of nature, because nature has never been oversaturated. We've oversaturated cities with people and buildings that have no people in them. How do you do that? How do you overload a city with buildings and people and have buildings with no people in them and say there's not enough room? That's the weirdest thing to me. or overload a planet with too many people when you have like millions, like billions of acres untouched, or realms of the ocean that haven't even been touched, yet you know more about space, which is still, I think, a lie. And even if it's the truth, it's still messed up. There is an oversaturation of human activity. And this is why I say, I don't think that people need to keep breeding ability generated people. I think we need to just start back and start breeding better people again, because there cannot be good entertainment if there is not good people. I don't want to look at someone on TV and be like, man, that's a great actor. And the next thing you know, he goes and punches a baby. Who's breeding these people? But then, you know, we get in trouble because we have a whole channel about roasting people. Y'all make the content. We just do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's like, or the fact that this is even weird. There is a stereotype of deadbeat fathers. And the first thing people think about is black people.
Mm-hmm.
Or you couldn't even say, you don't even have to say deadbeat fathers. Just say deadbeat. First thing they think about is a male. And so it's like, do we attribute that to how society has catered to people, or how our circle has catered to us? Because I can't really be upset if someone comes onto the job and in a weird way, it's like, I'll say it like this. I hire an amateur right there and I'm like, hey, we got a job right now. I want you to come with me. And then I get upset because I'm like, why didn't you didn't have any of the tools that you needed for this job? And it's like, but you hired me on the spot. And it's like, yeah, but like you do this, like this is your thing. And it's like, yeah, whether you use amateur or professional is like, yeah, but like you should always be ready to shoot, or always be ready to build, or always be ready to paint, or just anything, or even like, hey, we're about to play a game of 21. I'm like, all right, you coming to play? No, but you're a basketball player. You should always be ready to ball. Don't you got basketball shorts under your pants? Like, dude, it's my day off. Like I was just I was in the gym yesterday. I'm not about to play 21 with y'all. Like, what does this look like? And then not only that, you caught me on the streets in business clothes. You think I'm about to ball in these? Who do you think I am? And so, but that's also an attribute to like, there is an oversaturation of how much access we have to people. Like seeing LeBron on the streets just regularly outside of TV. I probably would never think he played basketball, especially because of the size. But seeing him so often on TV, now the first thing people want to ask, how's it feel to play basketball and be like the best player in the world? How are your kids doing? How's your wife? Oh, I saw her on Instagram yesterday. She looks pregnant. Are y'all expecting someone else? Do you still do Taco Tuesdays? What do you put in your recipes? And it's like, there's so much access. Now, of course, we give that access to people, but people also have too much personal access to people. That's why I don't know how I feel about meeting famous people if I'm not myself famous. Like, I don't know how I feel about meeting Kendrick Lamar outside of a meet and greet if I haven't already done something that would
warrant you to be able to. What do we have in common, right? What is our common place to talk about? Like,
yeah,
I feel like at this stage, the only reason for me to be in that room is I'm trying to learn, because if I'm in these rooms, just like Bijan dropped this one time because he was listening to somebody or reading something somewhere. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, yeah, because that basically means you hit your ceiling. If you ain't got nothing to learn in that room, drop your jewels and wisdom, and you need to keep it moving. So definitely.
Do you think people go to seminars because they don't want to read books?
let me answer this from my perspective. I would go to seminars because it's like a class.
Okay.
I definitely find answers in books and the whole nine. I'm all about it. Audiobooks, reading book. I just read a book this morning.
That one?
No, it was another book. It was a trading book, but nah. I'm always reading books, but to see it's like a live performance.
Oh, yes.
Somebody can perform that book live. Not even the whole thing, just live and talk about what's in it.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about it would be a seminar for the book. I'm just talking about somebody can perform a book live. I'm like, yeah, go for it.
Like audiobooks.
Yeah,
I would like that.
Yeah. And you can actually, watch them and interact with them. So,
because I like seminars are cool.
Yeah,
I was just like, I was just.
No, I don't think it's a lazy thing. I think it's an informative thing.
Okay.
But some people do go there because some people in the crowd don't know anything about anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it might be an introduction to somebody getting into that field.
Yeah.
So it's just a different way to look at it, like why you there or what seminar. But seminars don't replace books.
Yeah.
So to speak, not for me.
Gotcha. Because I didn't know if it was going to be like, it's like, oh yeah, some people just go because they think that all the knowledge of the book will be at the seminar.
Yes, no. Sometimes it's an introduction of what you need to go and do your own research. Like just like I said, nothing replaces hard work. Nothing replaces you getting out there and getting in it, getting dirty. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you like how you felt about kind of like, I guess like the society we live in and just the oversaturation of everything. Because, like I said, I love choices. I love having so many options, but I think that we just, I think we spoiled ourselves, and we've fallen into this gluttonous habit of if there's not more than 5, then it's not a good product. Like it was cool when Bird came out, the scooters, and then Lime came, and I was like, oh, okay, competition. But if I have to see like 7 scooters on the street and they're all different brands, I'm kicking one of them over.
Just a saturation of things that's out there and choices. Just like television. I mean, but you know something? For me, all of them are doing the same exact thing. The newses are doing the same exact thing. They just trying to, it's entertainment. They're trying to get you to watch my product. It's better than their product.
Yeah.
Use my toothpaste. It's better than their toothpaste. But they all do the same thing.
Whiter whites.
They all, and if I can find something that's as pure as possible or as original as possible, I go with them, and I go as close to my people as possible.
Yeah.
I try to go to close to my people as possible. But, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? What you really gonna do?
Yeah. I'd like to see a Black person make a Yeti, like their own cup thing. I feel like they could do something cool with it. I would like to see it. I don't know if it's a thing, but sometimes I get scared to to say ideas like that because recently this I think she was a hairdresser, but she was recently killed in her own salon. I think it was a robbery, and I think it was because something had happened and they were causing a ruckus. And don't quote me, but something had happened and the people were causing a ruckus, and I think they were doing something. So she asked them to leave and called the police. And then I think either like a few days or a week later they came back and then they like killed her. And so it's like to every would we and this isn't according to like talking about this, but I'll say it like this. Would we If we only knew that there were 3 doctors alive and one of them said something or they did something like that, where they're like, this person's causing a ruckus, we're going to send him out. Nothing disrespectful. Would we kill that person knowing that if we kill them, there's only going to be 2, which is a less chance of, if anything happens, they can survive? Because it's like the restaurant down the street. It's like, oh man, it's shut down. Like the Asian restaurant down the street. It's like, oh man, it's shut down. Well, at least we got the one, around the corner. And that one shuts down. Well, at least we have Arby's. That one shuts down. Well, we have McDonald's. That one shuts down. Well, we got Zaxby's. That one shuts down. Well, we still have Chick-fil-A. That one just shuts down. Well, we have Masala's. That one shuts down. Well, we still have Ruth's Chris. That one shuts down. Well, we still have, it's like we have so many. So many. We're not worried about things shutting down outside of our personal taste because we know that there's replacements. Or like humans now. Like we'll be like, oh dang, so-and-so died. That's crazy. Well, I guess on to the next one. The family mourns and then we move on.
But you know something? That's just like everything else, dude. That's like everything else.
Yeah.
You are finite. As the world turns. Like the world don't really give a care about how you make it or don't make it. You got to be significant in your own right. And that's why they're doing that, being a better person. And not being a better person, but being the best you. Knowing yourself, knowing the things that you can do in life. You got to be, you got to do you, fam. Be the best version of yourself you can possibly be. Period. So, yeah. And most likely it's going to take a little while, I think we will evolve, like I said, or I think it's a lot of something that needs to happen because, like I said, we are not treating each other well.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, when we're not treating each other well, something's going to happen because we are literally, as a society, killing each other, like off. Walmart, churches.
And we're lying about it.
Yeah.
We're lying about the percentage that we're dying. I think
it's all of it's bad.
It's weird.
All of it's bad.
I'm like,
all of it's bad. All of it, to me, all of it's bad. And then, certain things, like I told you, like when I watch American Gods, I'm like, who do you worship?
Yeah.
What do you worship? What do you think you're going? Or you think you're being good? Or you think you're helping?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think you're being a good person in your whatever walk of faith that you have?
Mm-hmm. It makes me wonder if I should stop just creating for the public and just create, like, what would happen if I just started creating for certain people? Like with that, because people might be like, you have such wonderful art, why don't you show it with everyone? Because everyone doesn't appreciate it. And those are not people I care about. Like in that sense, when it comes to my creativity.
My thing is on that one, yes. And I'm all about sharing with the right person. But if I keep it to myself, then I might not be able to touch the person that need it.
Yeah.
It's not for me. Because art, in my opinion, is created to be, even though you every artist is sensitive about their work, it's your gift from the Most High, and it is for you to share it with the world. Only because, like, I know people that do great things or can or never tap into it and never know, and you'll never see it. Or people that hold on to it because some trauma happens, and that's what send them into that reclusive state of making this wonderful art, and then it's lost.
Yeah. It's like, dang, you can sing so well. What has, like, someone told me I sounded terrible. I just don't.
I don't like how I sound.
Oh yeah, because I got too much stage fright.
Yeah, yes,
I had an accident happen, and I just can't get back on stage. It's like, what? I guess more so like creating for specific people, like releasing it to everyone, but only creating for specific people.
I say create pieces for you. Like, don't give everything out.
Yeah.
No matter how good they think it is, this is for me. This is not for, and that will rank your things.
Yeah.
That will be able to, okay, I like this piece, but it could look just like something else, but you have what you have and why. It could be, so you can release a piece and be like, this is the greatest thing. Everybody, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then have this other thing that doesn't hold that same value for them that it holds for you.
Yeah.
Like, you made this, and that's why you can make that. But comparatively speaking, this look primitive to that. But this has more value than that great piece because that created that.
Yeah.
That helped me to get to a space to get here.
I think that's something I want to do more, is create pieces that no one sees, specifically because it's like, I just want to create this for myself. Like, I want to do this just for me, and nothing against anyone else. It's just that I want to I just want to feel like I want to have something for me.
Yes.
Because I'm always putting everything out. And rascal. I'm always putting everything out, and everyone gets to see it. It's kind of, and that's the one thing about being a creative that sometimes sucks, is that the only way that people determine the success of an artist based on how much they know about the artist. Like, we only know that Salvador Dali is a great artist because we see his work. We know how much he's made and stuff like that. And people might say, oh, it's the craft. If that was the case, then there's a lot of artists that will not be famous because taste changes over time. What's good now probably wasn't good years ago, and what was good years ago probably wasn't good now, and what wasn't good years ago is amazing today. Like, what's his face? Redhead painter. Crap, I forgot his name. He made I think it's like the Weary Night or Star, the Stars in the Sky. I can't remember. Hold up. Literally. Vincent Van Gogh. I was like, what's his name? But it sucks because he never got any of the credit he deserved for his paintings because they weren't bumping with it. But nowadays, you see that sucker everywhere. You see it on cups, walls, corporate buildings, trays. You'll see it on a Band-Aid if you're lucky. Like, this man is literally helping me heal my wound. But back then, they were like, bro, we don't care about your stars, bro. And so it's like, that's why I'm like, you can't classify creativity by craft. I saw someone draw me in 30 seconds. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't anything like, whoa! It was, hold up, I'm gonna show you. The funniest, oh wait, did I save it? Nah, it's on the other one. I think I can actually show you. But yeah, they drew me. They were like this tweet and I'll draw you in 30 seconds. And I was like, you're lying. And then he did it like for like 2-3 people. I was like, I'm about to hop on this. And so, yeah, I got it. He ended up drawing me, and it was a 30-second draw. It was one of the. I was like, yo, I'm in love with this thing. But it was like, here it is. This is this is it. This is literally the drawing. You see? And I was like, yo, I'm not gonna lie, I love this thing. I was like, dang, that's crazy. And it was the simplest thing, but I was like, I don't know what it is about this, but I absolutely love it.
Oh my goodness. I was like, what can this Okay.
It's like, what could you do with 30 seconds? Like, what could you honestly do with 30 seconds? And it's like, I don't know what I was expecting, but I definitely was not expecting that. But I definitely love it way more than anything I was expecting. And so that's why I was like, I cannot determine the greatness of art by the skill level or the craft. I think it's 100% about the access that we have to that artist. Like how much we see that they do and, you know, just different things. Cause I see I saw a ton of these. This man is drawn. He drew like people were liking it. He's like, I'm gonna draw it. I got 30 seconds. I'm chilling. It's just a doodle. And he drew so many. And I was like, yo, this is one of my favorite artists. And it's like, it would have been offensive to someone if they were just like, I see people work so hard on the things that it's like, calm down.
Yeah, slow down.
Slow
down. Nobody trying to take away from the artist.
Yeah, I'm not discrediting.
Trying to take away from the artist.
Exactly.
Man.
But I was wondering, I wonder why I like it so much, because it's not like I've seen drawings that would technically blow this drawing out of the water.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not about the drawing. It's about the creativity about it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And it's like, wow. Okay. Like,
so before they drew it, did you know what it was going to be?
They just said your profile picture.
Okay.
They're like, I'll like this tweet and I'll draw your profile picture in 30 seconds. Gotcha. I was like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, all right.
Let's see what you got.
Yeah. And so the good thing was there was already an example right below that tweet. So we knew what we were getting into. But yeah, people buying bananas on wall, like duct tape banana on walls and potatoes for like millions of dollars. And then people are selling prints for 25. Nah, it can't be about craft. It's like, I think that it's just about when you asked me about the gallery, I was like, yeah, I think that's something I need to do. I was like, I 100% think that's something I need to do. Like start at a gallery and have an art show. Because like, especially now that I know that I can always spot a creative by how they see pictures. Because they'll never see it the same way that your average Joe will see it. Which is weird because even in that, there's an oversaturation of creatives. We know now that there are not just 20 creatives in this world. There's 20 million. Oh, 1,000, but.
And that comes from, is that coming from moving or getting out of your place, like getting out of Charlotte, getting out of Jacksonville, going to bigger places to realize that it's more creatives than what you thought?
I think it's just from Instagram.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Charlotte too. That too.
Yeah. I get it.
Because there's a lot of people who create things, and then there are creatives. Because some people just like everyone can create. People create gas all the time when they eat beans. Everyone can create. So creating is not the part that people need to pay attention to. Because I saw a lot of photographers or a lot of people with cameras have the word photographer in their bio. Let me tell you.
Not so much.
Yeah, I was like, imagine someone putting carpenter or architect in their bio, and you go on their page, And it is like, where's the craft? It's like, I was right there. No. I can't even explain to y'all how horrible it be sometimes. Like it makes me sad. I'm like, the only way I can explain it is, picture this, guys. Imagine, I'm trying to say something that might not be offensive, but I think that I might have to go there. Okay, this is safe. Imagine the most disgusting dogs you guys have ever seen in your life. And they're missing hair, bald spots and all. And they're all attached to one leash held by somebody who I will not name or describe. And then they got the biggest smile on their face, multiple pictures of said dogs, different times. And then you check their bio and it says, I'm a dog herder and a trainer. That's what it feels like. That's exactly what it feels like. And then you like, are you really a trainer? It's like, well, they're alive, aren't they? Alive's kind of pushing it, but I
told you. I told you. I had done said it already. Humans. Animals. Because you don't see no animal with a human as a pet.
Humans a debate whether they should pick their kids or their dog first if the house is burning down. Think about that.
Well, we're going to wrap this session up on that note, and then we're going to come back to it a little bit. We need to go see the rest of our family.
Comedy. Yeah, see the dog that they wouldn't debate if they were leaving Casey.
Yeah.
Or
you see how
if it's I think if it was Casey or Cart, actually, let me not say the rest of that sentence because
look. Your family, I hope your dog survived. That's all I'm saying.
All right, guys, this has been another episode of the Breakers of Bread podcast.
Yes.
We have been your hosts, Detavius and the Black.
Jay Wilkins.
And 2020, we coming heavy. All right, deuces.
Fully focused.
You're...